Hi, this is Tiffany. I'm making this video to give you an update on some information that I learned. If you do not know what the Great Reset is, I encourage you to do your research and go find out. Right now, we have a tsunami coming our way with the global takeover. They have created, and I mean they, like the globalists, the people that run the world, like big tech and big pharma and like the Federal Reserve, like the banking system. So they have created a system where they are going to be able to take full control. And it's called the Great Reset. And I encourage you to go check that out because it's going to enslave us to this new system where they will have full control over everything we buy, everything we spend our money on. They want to eventually microchip us and they already have the facial recognition stuff, but if we don't behave a certain way, we won't be able to have access to our money, or we won't be able to get a loan. So there's a lot of things that's involved with this Great Reset. So I really encourage you to go check it out if you don't already know about it, and before they end up deleting the information as well. Good news is, and that's what I'm making this video for, is to tell you the good news. I have bombarded myself with research with this whole Great Reset, and now I have come across the Greater Reset. It was formed by a group of doctors and scientists and other people that have been strategizing how to get out of this system that we have coming towards us. I mean, it's like a freight train coming towards us, and we have to take action now. If we don't take action now, we are going to get sucked up into this system, and we are going to be enslaved, and so are our children. So I want to emphasize to you how important this is. The videos that they came out with this week are 5 days of videos, and they're 3 hours long. Most people don't have time to sit for 3 hours and listen to all the information that they have. However, I have an advantage. I work from home, I homeschool my daughter, and I can multitask really well. So I just tend to watch videos and take lots of notes. So I wanted to share that information with you on just some key points that I was able to grasp from the videos. I'm on day 4. I haven't got to day 5 yet, but I wanted to go ahead and make this video now because it's a lot of information. And I'm trying to go from the 12 hours that I just watched down to maybe 30 minutes. So grab a pen and paper, and maybe you want to take some notes if you want to join us in this movement to be able to build a future for ourselves and get outside of the system that they are trying to force us into. So the key point is to build our own communities and network. We are going to have to get out of the systems that they currently have, where we are able to barter and trade and be able to grow our own foods, where we're not so dependent on the grocery stores, not so dependent on like Walmart and Amazon and all these big name companies, the banking system. We have to be able to grow outside of that. So we have to start developing our own communities, shop locally, shop with each other, and they have some other strategies for this. There's an organization called freedomcells.org. Check that out, freedomcells.org. This organization allows you to put your information in there, what skills you have, what skills you want to continue to build, and then you can check out the map of people that also are a member in your area, and you can join with these other members in your area to be able to utilize each other. They recommend a group of 8. So if you find 8 families, I guess you would call it, 8 families with different skills, you could build a group. And then when you build that group, you can connect with another group of whatever skills they have, and you can trade with each other. Remember, this goes back to, this is what they used to do back in the old days. We have to get out of this big corporate America system and start kind of going back locally and dealing with each other and having those closer relationships with each other again. So this website allows us to do that. Now, I'm having some trouble with being able to log in and creating my own account. They said you have to create possible a separate email account, like if you have Yahoo, Gmail, the big tech accounts. So I have to go in and I have to go in and create a separate email account through like one of the smaller email servers. So I just want you to know, try the current email you have, but if you have an issue, it says it at the bottom. It gives you a few recommendations, but I have to do the same. So we want to hook up with people that are possibly farmers. Maybe they specialize in self-defense, some form of military, people that are really good at homeschooling, teaching children, some spiritual guides like preachers, maybe yoga teachers, exercise athletes, and not really athletes, but people that are really good at instructing with exercise, because we want to be healthy. This is also important. And like carpenters and other people like that, people that have skills that we can kind of barter and trade skills with and stuff. So different currencies that we would be able to use. Of course, cryptocurrency comes up like Bitcoin, Monero, Pirate, and Zcash. They said some of the ones that are more private are better to use. That way they don't end up being able to monetize them. They said Monero is really good. I do have, eventually you're going to have to get one of these. It's a digital wallet, and the digital wallet allows you to hold your money on here, and it prevents anyone from being able to hack into it, because initially you have to create it with like a 24 password to be able to get it activated. And it's supposed to be private. I don't know everything about cryptocurrency, but I'm willing to try anything. So I'm already learning some of the basics of the cryptocurrency. And as you already know, or you may know, PayPal already accepts it. I think Amazon was supposed to be getting on and accepting it. Or being able to do the transactions. And some other ones are starting to get on board as well. So cryptocurrency would be good. Same thing with gold and silver. We're going to have to barter and trade just like back in the old days. I'm finding out that silver is actually more profitable than gold. Even though gold costs more, they can use it for different things. They use it more, and they said that there's less of it. So right now, I think silver, you can probably buy like an ounce of silver for about $30. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the last time I checked that's what it said. So you can get silver and gold. There's a couple of barter sites that you can go on to and be able to barter and trade. One of them is called haveneed.org. Again, haveneed.org. And the other one is shareable.net. So you'll be able to go on those two websites and be able to trade for different items that you may need. Maybe you need a chicken, and then maybe you can trade some chicken for like a box of ammo. I don't know. I'm not saying that that's a fair trade. I'm just saying that that's an example. And then there were some other ones that they had mentioned. I had no clue what they were. It was called Valos Tim, Ethica Hours, and the Miracle of Virgil. Apparently, in some other countries before their currency had rolled out, they had these type of currency systems and they work. So maybe if we get to that point and we say, you know what, let's try some other alternatives for our group, maybe that we can look into doing more research on that, because I don't know what that is. Okay, so it's our duty to not support a system that doesn't support us. And this goes for the big corporations that are taking away our rights, like Amazon. Amazon just funded taking down Parler, which is a conservative website. So I have already canceled my Amazon account, and I'm trying not to buy anything from them if I don't have to. I'm trying to stay away from Walmart or Target, even though it's hard. I am not saying that it's easy. They have made us very dependable on these stores. So I'm just going to encourage you to take a step of slowing down or looking for other alternatives, or start looking for some local smaller businesses in your area that you can start shopping at. So we're not going to be perfect at it right away. It is going to be progress, but we have to stop putting money into the pockets that are hurting us and that are encouraging our enslavement. So I do encourage you to do that. There was a lady that was on there talking about the education system and the way that the education system is to indoctrinate us. The public schools train us to be workers and to be very narrow-minded, and they don't teach us to follow through with actions. And this is something that I've kind of caught myself in a way where I want to start a business, but then I keep hitting this like ceiling where I can't follow through with it. And so he was explaining, and she was too. There's a couple of people that were explaining it, of the way that they teach people in public school systems where they don't teach us to follow through with being able to open businesses. Because if you think about it, and if you're really watching, they're just teaching the kids to take tests. They're like forcing this information into them, and they're constantly forcing them to take tests where they're not really learning and holding on to the information they're learning. They're just, it's like cramming. When you cram for a test, you don't memorize it. It doesn't sink in. So they were just talking about the indoctrination of the public school system, and that if we are able to get out of it, if we are able to homeschool our kids, this is very important. I homeschool my daughter currently, but it's not easy. I'm not telling you that it's easy. It's really not. I work a full-time job, but I make the sacrifice for her, and it also allows me to travel a little more too. So it's not easy, but under the circumstances, I refuse when the time comes that she's going to be forced to get vaccinated to go to school. I'm just not doing it. And I'm not allowing her to wear a mask either. I'm not saying that it's wrong if that's what you want to do. That's your kid. Hey, I'm not saying that's you. That's my choice for my daughter. I don't want her to wear a mask because they don't work, and it actually builds up bacteria in the mask and causes other illnesses, and depletes the oxygen to the brain. Anyway, that's another conversation. So there was another one. This guy, his name was Richard Grove, and his business was called Autonomy Navigator. He will help people create businesses. So if you're like me, maybe you want to start a business and you keep hitting that roadblock, that ceiling, they are actually helping people to build businesses. Because remember, if we're going to create a network or like even a small community, we're going to all have to have businesses and have different things to contribute. So it's going to take effort by all of us to be able to build a little community together where we can kind of depend on each other. If you cannot go into this with a welfare mentality. If you think that people are going to support you or the government's going to support you, you're going to be enslaved. You can't depend on anyone else to help you if you're not willing to help yourself, or if you have nothing to contribute. And that's all I'm saying. You have to have something to contribute and not think that everyone's just going to give you stuff, because we can't grow a community with a bunch of liberals. We can't. Point blank. We just can't, right? So anyway, this website was called Getautonomy.info/19 skills. He said that there is like a PDF form that you can go on there and be able to print out this PDF, and it'll give you like 19 skills that you would be able to help grow your business. And then he can help you build this business, which is also really cool. Again, that was Getautonomy. Make sure I said that right. Getautonomy.info/19 skills. All right. There was the group of doctors that I was talking about is called the World Freedom Alliance.org with Dolores Cahill. Oh, I just want to make sure I say that. Cahill. So they have a group of doctors. And so in this network, this is a freedom network. So these doctors are going to be a freedom network. So we will be able to barter and trade with them too. Different skills, right? So we need these doctors. We need these lawyers. We need these scientists to be on our side. So this is really great news that we will have some really intelligent people on our side, right? So they are creating a freedom of health, a freedom of travel, media, and education. So, like I said, we'll already have the doctors travel. They want to create their own airlines called freedomairways.com. So they're talking about creating their own airlines where we can actually go on a plane without having to wear a mask, without having to have a vaccine, without having to have a COVID test. So this would be really interesting to be able to go on, to have these options for us and have the freedom to be able to do so. So, what else? They also are creating a media. They said that if we create videos and we send them to them, they will do our editing for us. Obviously, there would be a fee for it or something, but they would be able to do our editing for us and put them on their own media. So they're creating their own media so that way we would have that freedom media of being able to not be censored and not be limited to the information that we're allowed to have or being told what we're supposed to think. So the media is going to be called Happen.network. I'm going to give you a few websites, okay? You can go in and check them out whenever you get a chance, okay? So the first one is worldfreedomalliance.org, worlddoctorsalliance.com, freedomairways.com, Happen.network. Okay, and that's it for now. And then she said there's a university in Ireland. She said that you could go and take some courses on there, and it's free and it's accredited. And if you choose at the end of your course to buy into the college, you can buy shares into the college, and that will also support free education for future students. And that was the University of Ireland. So we'll have all these alternatives that we'll be able to go to. Okay, so for food, this is a big one, okay, because right now we have an attack on our food. They are trying to limit our supply. They are shutting down our farmers. They're trying to shut down our farmers. And there's an attack on meat in general. They are creating bug farms, like bug protein, where they want to completely stop farming meat and start giving us bug protein, so that way obviously we're going to be malnourished and nutrient deficient, because we're not supposed to be eating bugs like that, right? So there's a big attack on food supply, so we need to start growing food like now, like yesterday. Start growing your own food now, because there is a big there's going to be a shortage coming, and I want you to know that. You need to start growing your own food, and we need to be able to trade with each other. Whatever you are growing, maybe someone else can grow in your group. So anyway, Jack Spirko, I think that's his name, Spirko. He is the CEO of the Survival Podcast. If you go into the podcast called Survival Podcast, his name was Jack Spirko. He had an abundance of knowledge about farming. He talked a lot about like raising ducks and stuff like that. And there was two other ones. Marjory Wildcraft. She's the CEO of Grow Network. And Christopher Westbrook, which is one of my favorites. I watch him all the time, which is the Ice Age farmer. They said that some of the easier meats to grow, some of the easier animals to raise is chickens, rabbits, quail, and fish. Those are some of the easiest ones that you would be able to raise to be able to produce meat. Chickens are really easy because you can feed them your scraps that you have from the house. And so they pretty much eat what you eat. And she said, Marjory, she said you can have about 6 chickens and it produces about 1,500 eggs a year. So this would be really beneficial. Rabbit, she said the rabbit meat is really, it's really nutrient dense. There's a lot of nutrients that actually taste pretty good too, and they're easy to raise. And you can feed them with just like grass clippings and clovers. So they would be really easy to feed as well. Some of the crops that they said that you want to have the highest yield crops, ones that will actually keep you full and they're simple to grow. I'll give you a list of ones that they recommended. Sweet potatoes, greens, beets, corn, beans, squash, eggplant, and peppers. They recommended those as some of the easier ones to be able to grow. And they were mentioning that liver from the rabbits and stuff are very nutrient dense. So that way you and your children are not becoming malnourished because you're not getting enough food, or because we can't actually think that we're going to survive just on rice and beans. I mean, I love rice and beans, but obviously it doesn't have all the nutrients that our bodies need. So they were saying that liver would actually be really good for us, and with practice we'll know how to cook it, right? And animals are the best fertilizer. So having extra animals, you can use their manure to be able to fertilize your gardens, and you wouldn't need those synthetic fertilizers that are going to end up probably giving you cancer anyway, right? Okay, so a few recommendations that they had given was continue to improve your skills. So if you want to learn carpentry, if you want to learn how to be a better parent, which Lord knows some of y'all need that help. I'm just kidding. Being an electrician, teaching children, being a blacksmith, learning the medical field, being an herbalist, a chiropractor. I love all natural medicine. I don't take pharmaceutical drugs or anything. I don't take any of that stuff. So I prefer all natural medicine and herbs, and being able to grow your own herbs. And even if you wanted to get a book of something like that just to have on hand and kind of start studying it like that, that would be great to start doing. Power of prayer and positive intentions. Thoughts and words are very powerful. Grow your spiritual connections with God and in the universe. We are powerful beings. And the globalists know that. They know that we are powerful in our spiritual beings. That's why they put the fluoride in the water, to be able to calcify our pineal gland. We have a third eye about here, and the fluoride calcifies it, and that's why they put it in the toothpaste and the water and everything like that, because they want to cut off our spiritual connections and our creativity. That's where a lot of that comes from. And there's ways of decalcifying it, which you can look that up as well. Okay, so technology. They are building a lot of technology to give us other alternatives, like Google and stuff like that. I don't use Google that much anyway, but they have other technology, so I just want to kind of run those by you. I'm not going to go real in depth with that stuff. I'm not tech savvy, kind of, so I'm just going to give you a few ideas of what they're saying. Building technology using blockchain. Blockchain is more secure, and it reduces the risk of censorship. All right, so Odyssey.com would be like the new YouTube. So you're able to live stream, and they'll have playlists on there. So that's Odyssey.com. Float.app. Float is spelled Flote .app. That would be like the new Facebook. So that's like a social media website. It's a decentralized social media. And they're working on having a payment system on there, so we would be able to use cryptocurrency on that type of stuff as well. There's one called Library. It was a blockchain video platform, LBRY. They didn't have the full word, so it just said Library, and it said that it was a video platform. D-Web, it's a decentralized web that they're working on creating. Messenger. Instead of using Facebook Messenger, we would be able to use Signal, Threema, and Telegram. I already have Telegram with a few people that I follow on there, and but they're saying that we will be able to use that to kind of keep in touch with each other. Okay, so VPNs. VPNs, it just kind of keeps your web browsing secure, so that way they won't be able to hack into it and know what you're searching. And keep in mind, it's really important that we start going back to the way we were before, and not being comfortable with having our privacy violated, because that's why they're gathering all this information, because the more information they have, the stronger they are, and the more enslaved they know how to put us. I guess in other words. Okay, so the VPNs is Orchid, ExpressVPN, Nord VPN, and Proton VPN. Some of the search engines that they recommend is DuckDuckGo. I've been using DuckDuckGo for a long time. And whenever you use DuckDuckGo, you won't automatically start seeing all the advertisements on Facebook and everything that you're searching, because it blocks it. It doesn't allow them to see what you're searching, so that way they won't be able to advertise to you. So DuckDuckGo, Brave, and Presearch. So you may be able to look those up and get those apps on your phone and be able to start searching like that instead of using Google. Some of the other social media websites besides Float was MeWe, Voice, Social with 2 L's, and Minds. There is a password that kind of helps lock in your password. It's called Dashlane, LastPass, and 1Password. Okay, so they're creating a web. We can use cryptocurrency. I mentioned that. They're also creating like other computers besides Mac and Windows. One is called Linux, and the other one is called Winex. I don't really know what that. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. The other email ones is C-Simpler. So instead of using Yahoo or Google or anything, you can use C-Simpler. And then they are creating phones as well. So instead of being able to have to use Android and Apple, they're also creating phones such as Libra 5 and Pine Phone. And the ones that one of the websites that had created all of this content and the technology is Abovrground.market. So you can check that out whenever you get some free time. Anyway, that was my 12 hours of information in about 30 minutes. So with the future that holds in front of us, we really have to start building bonds closer together. With the way society has gone, we have become more separated from each other. And especially, I think social media has had a big damper on a lot of relationships. And I think we're going to start realizing now how important our relationships are with each other. And stop allowing the media to control what we think and stop dividing us according to political class, racial class, I mean everything, because we're all human beings and we all need to start learning how to love each other. And out of everything, first and foremost, we really have to build our spiritual connection and get close to God, because he's the only one that's going to be able to help us out of this. So please educate yourself. It's so important. It's so important because no one wants to be enslaved. No one wants to have their freedoms taken away. So I'm just here to encourage you, and I'll keep in touch, and whatever else I come across, I'll try to make more videos, and so that way we can all kind of stay informed and keep each other informed. Okay? God bless.